Welcome to this reading skills video. This short presentation is on the skill of retrieval. What is retrieval? First, let's take a look at the National Curriculum reading content domains. Content domains are the elements of the National Curriculum programme of study for reading that are tested at the end of Year 6 in the Key Stage 2 reading assessment, which is known as the SAT test. Today, we are focusing on 2B, retrieve and record information, identify key details from fiction and non-fiction. And we just shorten that to retrieval. When you retrieve something, you find it and bring it back or get it from somewhere. In this case, you need to find information or facts that you get from a text. So basically, you will retrieve facts or details from the text. You could also do this with a film or a picture, but today we're going to look at how we do this when we read a text. Retrieval questions are usually questions which begin with who, what, when, and where. And here are several examples. But be careful. They can start with other words. For example, they may ask you how many or how much, or they may say something else entirely. When I model some questions for you, I've picked out 2 recent SAT questions that look very different. When answering retrieval questions, we need to remember to do the following things. First, read the question carefully and pick out keywords. Reading the question carefully is just good advice on any question that you're given. Locate the right section of the text. Skim and scan the text for the keywords from the question. Read around the keywords to get the right information, and I'm going to talk about this a bit when I show you my the first question, because lots of children will find the keyword and then read all of the information after the keyword but forget about the information before, and sometimes the information is just before the keyword. Check your answer makes sense by going back to the question. Again, just good advice in general. And either copy your answer or follow the question instructions, because you may have to tick or circle something. Here is an example of a retrieval question from the 2019 Key Stage 2 reading paper. I've got my success criteria up here to help us, so we'll start off by doing the first step. Read the question carefully and pick out the key words. What is AJ doing when the post arrives? So AJ is definitely a keyword, and post. So then locate the right section of text. Questions 1 to 13 are about the park, pages 4 to 5. So it could be on either page 4 or 5. But here's a bit of a clue. This is the first question in the paper, so it's going to be in the early part of page 4, so at the start of this reading. SAT papers are quite helpful like that. They put the questions in the order of the text, generally. So I'm going to read this opening here, and it says skim and scan for keywords. So I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm going to skim and scan for keywords. I'm not going to scan for AJ, because while I want to know what he's doing, he's going to appear quite a bit here. He's already in the top here. He's already there. So I'm going to look for post. I'm not going to read the entire thing. I'm going to just scan along for the word post. Here we are, quite early on. Now, if I read just the words after post, remember I said to you lots of children find the keywords and then just read everything after it, then I would get this wrong. Because if I'm going to go back and read everything, it says bit early for the post, isn't it, Mum said, and then I'm not reading what AJ's doing. So I'm going to go right back to where AJ is mentioned. AJ was just about to tuck into his tea and toast dripping in sour rhubarb jam when there was a loud clatter from the letterbox as an important looking brown envelope landed on the mat. AJ was just about to tuck into his tea and toast. So he's just about to eat his breakfast. So let's see. What is AJ doing when the post arrives? He's just about to eat his breakfast. So I've checked my answer makes sense, and I don't want to copy all of that because it's a bit long. So I'm just going to paraphrase it, which means I'm going to put it into my own words and just say he was just about to eat his breakfast. Let's try one more. This is a 2-part retrieval question from the same paper. This is an example of how varied retrieval questions can appear. It looks very different from the last question, but it is asking us to use the same skill, so we just need to follow the same steps. So the first step, read the question carefully and pick out the keywords. So the first question, tick one box in each row to show whether each of the following flowers is bee-friendly or not bee-friendly. So it also tells us to look at page 7. So I'm going to find page 7. There's page 7. And tick one box in each row to show whether each of the following flowers is bee-friendly or not bee-friendly. So they're very kind. They've given us our keywords. We don't even need to highlight them. And I would be looking for, not going to look for not bee-friendly, I'm just going to look for bee-friendly. And I would also really be interested in all of these flower names. These are really useful. These are all our keywords. Now page 7's got a lot of information on it, but luckily for us, information texts give us headings that could help. So we're going to look for something that will talk about helping bees and being friendly to bees, because bee-friendly things are things that help bees. So did you know that bumblebees have smelly feet? That's not going to help us. Things you can do to help, being helpful to bees, is what we're looking for. So I'm just going to skim and scan along here for my keywords. I'm going to look up, there's bee-friendly, and there is bee-friendly. So we're in the right area. I'm just going to read around these now. No matter how small your garden, you can help to save the sound of summer by providing lots of bee-friendly flowers throughout the year. By bee-friendly, we mean flowers that are rich in pollen and nectar. Many ornamental plants that are commonly found in British gardens, such as pansies, that was one of ours, and begonias, are of no value to wildlife. That's interesting, and that's important, because pansies are one of our flowers. So these decorative and colourful flowers often produce little pollen or nectar. However, there are hundreds of beautiful flowers that do offer these rewards, including foxgloves, lavender, geraniums, herbs, and wild roses. So I found all my keywords. So let's go back. So we're going to tick off lavender is bee-friendly, definitely. Herbs and wild roses, sorry. But pansies, which is the plural of pansy, it said they are of no value to wildlife, which means they've produced little pollen or nectar, so they are not bee-friendly. So that's that one done. So we'll go on to question 22b. Explain why the flowers that are not bee-friendly do not attract bees. Well, we've read that information. If we go back, these decorative and colourful flowers often produce little pollen or nectar. They are of no value to wildlife. So I'm going to use this, little pollen or nectar, as my answer. They produce little pollen. If you found this video useful, please click like and leave a comment. And if you've got any requests on future videos on how to answer specific types of questions or different reading skills, I'll be happy to make them. I have others on different reading skills here. Just click on the links here for those. Bye!